My next guest just picked up some hardware last week, getting the LFA flyweight title. It is Jamey-Lyn Horth Wessels back here on the program. Jamey-Lyn, how are you?
I'm, you know what? I'm good. I'm great. Can't speak so much for my knee and lower half on that side, but I mean, I feel great. I wish that I wasn't dealing with what I'm dealing with, and I'd be back there fighting tomorrow.
Me saying LFA flyweight champion, is that sunk in yet? We're about a week removed, close to a week. You're the LFA champ. That's a huge deal right now in the sport.
Honestly, it really hasn't sunk in yet. Like, I just feel like I've just been so like in business mode and like organizing and like making sure that I'm like healthy and like dealing with all that. I haven't really sat back and been like, holy shit, like this happened. Like it just flew by. It was just such a great experience. And I just haven't even had a second to just sit down and be like, whoa.
And what was even more incredible was the fact that you suffered a knee injury in the fight and you were able to persevere and get it done. Just talk a bit about that.
In the first 2 minutes of that first round, I got put in a bad position. I was in a knee bar, like an ankle lock, like I was kind of rolling around, and I remember sitting in like an ankle lock position, and I remember hearing pop, 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 pop 6 times, and I looked down and I'm like, hey, either my leg's broken and it's facing that way, or I just like blew everything out of my knee. And like going back and watching the video of myself, like I don't know how I didn't show it, or like I was thinking it and I was talking to myself, and I talked myself through that whole scenario, and I was like, tap, like you got to tap, like your leg's done. And
right.
Then I got out, and I remember standing up and putting it up against the cage, and I was like, yeah, my leg's a noodle. Like it's not even my own leg anymore.
That's crazy, because you know what? I don't even think they pointed that out in the commentary. At least I didn't notice. So you must have a good poker face. So this was early in the fight, like you were saying. Like, how did you get through it? Was it just adrenaline? Like what do you credit your toughness to, and you know, still being able to win the fight?
Honestly, like I just, that's pretty much what I've been thinking about all week, is just, you know, like I think it is just the adrenaline, because I walked back to the corner after, you know, 3 more minutes of play. And I said to Jay and Cole, and I said, look, you guys, I said, I just blew out my knee. My knee's done. And they're like, okay, so we're just going to continue on pushing her against the cage. We're going to take her down. Like it just went right over their heads too. And they knew that, you know what I mean? Like what options do we have? You know what I mean? We've come this far. We've put in this much work to walk away with that. Like, you know, I've always said it's like kill or be killed, and I wasn't dead. So, you know, I'll just fight her on one leg.
So you're dealing with this injury, and you still go out there and get the submission victory in the 3rd round. Like, what's going through your head? Are you able to enjoy the moment, or are you just thinking about your knee? Like what's happening at that point?
You know, I after that, I only threw 1 knee and 1 kick, and I think it's just that my body just wouldn't let me. It was protecting it. You know, if you go back and watch the fight now, knowing what happened and what my result is right now, I mean, it's just mind-boggling that I even stood up and continued that first round and didn't walk out. You know, so I think, you know, adrenaline, and then I think too, like preparation. You know, I have a wicked strength and conditioning coach. I'm constantly building, you know, the supporting muscles in my body all the time. Like I have a great regimen that way. I'm a hunter. And, you know, like I eat good quality food all the time. And I think too, I just, you know, my will to win is just so much farther ahead of any other thing. I couldn't not fight.
So you get the belt wrapped around your waist. I mean, this is a dream come true. This is something we talked about how, you know, the prestige of winning an LFA title. So take me through after this. Are you going straight to the hospital? Like what happened after that?
Well, I'm pretty stubborn, and I know a lot of my family and friends will contest to that. The doctor came in and asked if I was okay. And I said, you know, I think my foot's just sore. I kick a lot. It's common. It happens all the time. I said, I'm okay. And I said to Jay, I said, we need to get out of here, because I'm not going to the hospital. I want to just go enjoy this. You know, I want to spend time with the family and everybody, and go to the casino. So we made it downstairs to the room, and I think that's when my adrenaline started to wear off. And I was like, I need a doctor in here right now. And they were trying to manipulate my leg, and I'm like, just keep my leg like down on the ground, like don't touch me. And yeah, I just went back to my hotel room. We walked out. Jay said, we're not wheelchairing out of here. We're not giving anybody that gratification. We're walking out of here. So we walked out of the venue, and I went to went for dinner with my team and walked around and took some photos, and, you know, eventually hopped in a wheelchair just so I could go gamble a little bit. But yeah.
That's crazy. That's amazing. And so what was the plane ride like back home dealing with this injury, or did you get medical attention in the States? Like what happened?
I didn't get any medical attention in the States. I knew I was going to have to come home. I knew it was going to be like more than just a quick doctor's appointment. So pretty much since I've landed on Monday, it's been, in and out of appointments and treatments and just figuring out the next steps going forward. But the flight home was actually like pretty enjoyable. Like the flight attendants were very accommodating. They kept moving my seats around. They gave me like the comfort extra room. They're like, don't tell anybody. They bumped me into the comfort seat. So I was taken very well care of on the way home. It was uncomfortable, but I mean, win a belt, blow out your knee, I could have been flying home without a belt. So I'm just grateful for that.
Now, and I'm sure part of that too is you wanted to get back home because of our, not to get too political here, but the healthcare in Canada is a lot better. You don't have to worry about, fees and all that. I mean, it is a nightmare over there, right? So I'm sure that's part of it. Like you had to I just got to get through this plane ride. I'll get home and then we get some good healthcare, right?
Yeah, I've got a wicked physio, team here. I've got massage, I've got acupuncture, I've got chiro and physio on dial 24/7. They were messaging me right after my fight being like, okay, we've got you booked in for next Wednesday when you fly home. Like your knee looked like it was in a bad position. Like we're going to take care of you. And it's been like that since I got home into Squamish. It's been bang, bang, bang. All my appointments have been lined up. And I seen my physio today. I seen my doctor. I've had an MRI and an ultrasound. So we've got some answers and some ideas of what we're looking at. But now it's just time to just focus on healing and just building back up.
So what is the official injury like then in sort of layman's terms? You tore your knee or what exactly happened?
So I have what is considered like pretty much a full PCL tear. So the ligament that holds the knee from sliding forward and back. So basically what attaches my femur to my tibia and fibula or whatever. Yeah. So that's pretty much torn. I have a 50% LCL tear, which is my lateral support. And then I have a couple it's called the populus. It's a muscle that's behind the knee, which helps like with flexion and stuff. So that thing's all buggered up and I have some tearing in the tendon there as well. And a whole bunch of edema. So a lot of blood and swelling and inflammation in there. So it's quite large and not mobile right now.
Well, you're taking it in stride. I mean, I'd be in a lot more pain or I'd seem a little bit more aggravated, but I know it obviously sucks that you're sort of dealing with this. So I imagine the plan is obviously, I hope you don't have to do surgery. Is that kind of what you're thinking? Is there any sort of update on that end?
As of today, I got some really good answers. I think too, just being as natural and healthy as I am, that I'm too stubborn and it's not going to stop me. I have to get a brace. I'll probably be in a brace for 6 weeks. Just to let that PCL, that ligament there heal up and then go from there. So that's not terrible. Mm-hmm. I guess so far so good from what I can gather.
Well, what's been the feedback since the win? I mean, I saw on social media, I mean, we know a lot of the same people, just overwhelming posts, people so happy. Cause I think people knew that you were capable of winning a title like this and it actually happened. And just to hear everything that you had to go through, I mean, it makes it even sweeter.
I mean, I'm from Squamish and this company, this town and this community is just absolutely amazing. Like it's been nonstop support, and I always make the joke, we'll work for food. So I have a couple food sponsors and I've been there already. And everybody here is just so generous and kind and motivating. And like the photos that I'm getting of like U11 hockey rep teams that like kids that I know and have coached and have been a part of their life for, the last few years. And just all the little groups of people that watched and had like little parties to watch my fight. It's just amazing. Like just the kickback coming back from it is just like, I'm more excited about that, just how many people that my fight and like my career has touched is just beside me.
I know the focus is on the injury, but any update from your management? I mean, the UFC's got to be paying attention to what you did, especially with the fact that, like I said, you went out there, you got the finish and you got the title as well.
Nothing yet. Nothing to share yet. I haven't had any, it's barely been a week. So we're just, letting the dust settle and then figuring everything out. But fingers crossed and the phone lines are open. So we're hoping for something soon.
Anything about sort of looking back at the fight, anything surprised you about her as an opponent that maybe you weren't expecting in the fight?
I mean, it was a huge jump for me in my career. She's 9-3-1. That's 12 fights. I've had 4 pro fights, and 3 amateur fights. So even then my fighting career is very little compared to some of the girls that, are out there and I've never been afraid of a challenge. So, she's a black belt in judo and a black belt in jiu-jitsu and for me personally to get the sub on that, I mean, that's pretty cool. being as I like where I'm at in my jiu-jitsu, I'm a purple belt, you know what I mean? So like a purple belt and a black belt, like it's kind of a no-brainer. You just assume, the black belt's going to be the one. So, I just think it's cool to kind of push the limits on some of these like anticipated pre-matchups. And I'm just glad that I kind of got to showcase a little bit of the hands. I really wanted, I almost dropped her with my hands. So I was pretty excited about that. I don't know. I just, the whole experience, everything just went so smoothly, my right from my training camp to my coaches to fight week to everything. It just worked out perfectly. And I couldn't ask for a better setup.
Have you spoken to LFA at all? I'm sure, obviously with you being the champion, they might want to rebook you. I guess they must be aware of the injury now. Is that they kind of in the loop?
Yeah, they've been amazing. Like since the get-go, I've been in contact with Mark. He text messages me pretty much every day and just to see how I'm doing and like checking in and even with Ed Suarez with the post-fight interview, like, obviously they'd love for me to stay, but like it's no secret that the champs and, the belt holders kind of move on to the next stage. And I think that they encourage that. It's great for the company. And I've got nothing but support and love from LFA and whatever happens in the next coming months, if I fight for them again, or if I get the call to UFC, I'll just embrace whatever comes my way.
And that's just it. And we talked about this pre-fight. You're in a win-win situation. You're going to get fights for LFA because they have to give their champion someone. And if not, the UFC, I mean, you look at all the flyweight champs, they're all in the UFC. Andrea Lee, Loopy, right? There's so many that have been able to make that jump. So I'm sure that's got to feel great too, despite the injury.
Yeah, no, it feels great. Like knowing, and I've fought, I've trained with Loopy. I train with Loopy often. I've trained with other girls, Veronica Machado, who's in the UFC, and it's not, I guess it's self-belief, like I always known that I can hang with those girls and where I belong. And it was just nice to be able to showcase that, with this belt and be able to, really, really just believe in myself and bring back, my belt back to Squamish, a Canadian belt.
Yeah.
American belt in Canada, it's so cool. I barely made it through the border. The cops were grabbing my belt, taking photos. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome. I don't know if you got to talk to him at all, but Tony Laramie also won on the card, another one of the Canadians that was on there. Did you get to speak to him or see his team at all? Because I know Reno's a really great coach too. I was watching that fight as well. Tony picked up a nice win.
Tony had a great win, man. He looks so good in there. I've trained with his brother TJ. TJ's come up to Squamish when
That's
he was
right. I remember that a few years ago. Yeah, when he passed through. I remember that. Okay.
Yeah, so I got to, I got a couple sessions in with TJ, and he was part of the team here in Squamish for a couple days. Actually, it's funny because I don't sleep in, so I was downstairs having breakfast at like 5 a.m. our time, which was 7 a.m. their time in Minnesota. And I was drinking coffee, and another guy comes down by himself, another fighter. He's eating breakfast by himself, and I'm like, "Hey, man, how's it going?" And then I eat breakfast, and then Tony comes down, and he's got nowhere to sit. So I'm like, "Oh, come sit with us." So nice. Tony sat. So it was just really cool, like we're all just kind of like crawling out of the woodworks post fight and running off that high and having some breakfast and a coffee like another day.
He also had an injury too, which is nuts that he ended up winning his fight. And he was like a big underdog because I guess the guy he fought was undefeated or something. So it was a good night for Canada. I thought that was, really cool that you guys, because again, I tell this to people all the time. There's a lot of good talent in Canada. It's just a matter of getting those opportunities. And I thought that last card on Friday was a great example of that with you and Tony both picking up really good wins. So I know you've been getting a lot of love from the Canadian fans.
Oh yeah, Team Canada, man. Even Jared Gravel's fight the week before was great. Fortunately he didn't get the win, but we're Canadians, man. We're just out there. We're just grinding it out and throwing hands and looking for something. So it's great.
Last question. What's on the agenda for the holidays? I know you're basically I know this is tough for you because you're used to being active and doing stuff. So I know you got to kind of take it easy. But what do you have planned for the holidays?
Well, actually, on Monday I went in and hit pads on one leg, but
there you go. Okay, yeah, I won't. It's our secret.
And then I tried doing some upper body at my strength gym. So trying to do a bench press without being able to drive to your legs is a whole new ball game. But for the holidays, I'm a huge family person. I have a large family. My two of my sisters got to fly out, and my mom for that fight, so that was really special. And I'm actually just at my sister's. I'm going to bake cookies and hang out with the nieces and nephews and watch Christmas movies and just enjoy the old spirit of Christmas.
Thanks again for doing this, Jamie. It was so great to chat with you. And again, congratulations on picking up that big win. If there's anyone you want to thank, sponsors, social media, I'll give you the last word.
I mean, again, it's like it always is. Squamish has been amazing, right from the top. Jay and Cole for being my coaches, Casey Smith, for handling all the business and programming and the backdoor stuff. And, you know, it goes down the line. Carl Baumieri's helped out with my nutrition and my agility. Jesse Buffano, my strength coach. You know, I have sponsors, Black Widow, wall-to-wall flooring, Summit Concrete, Corridor Concrete, Sean Wentworth, Nicole Musgrave, the real estate agents, Sunny Chibas, Pepe's. I mean, my Shift Wellness, Dr. Amber Kirk at Unwind, Tanya Motika, my massage therapist. I don't even know, I'm going to miss people, but I have a huge support system, and it's like unreal. I'm going to miss people, and I apologize, but I just want to say thank you to everybody from Squamish, and we're putting our name on the map.